Chris Brown started going crazy because he's sick of the allegations or him getting talked about. He's sick of that situation holding over his head, the Rihanna situation, being held over his head 16 years later, and he was like underage when it happened on top of that. He was 20. Too. Or he was 20, however old.
I don't know why he said he was 17. He was 20.
Yeah, so however old, however
he was 89.
age
Stop.
was.
You're an adult, you know what I'm saying?
The way he
was
recalled it.
But even still with that, like, I love Chris Brown. Like, I get it, but like, he's definitely done other shit. Like, it's not even just a Rihanna shit. Like,
so
he beat up other shorties?
No. So hold on real quick. We'll get to that. Hold on one second. So in response, Chris Brown was so pissed, he started posting all these people on his Instagram story that have also had a domestic abuse situation, and it was mainly a bunch of white people. So he was posting like 𝙿𝙻𝙰𝚃. He was posting a bunch of white people. I'm just gonna say that. I'll put the pictures up there. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, posting a bunch of people that. In reality, nobody does give a fuck that they beat their woman up. You know, he can put Dana White up there and still nobody care. You know what I'm saying?
And that's recent.
And that was like a month ago. Blueface was also one of those people, and Krishan was also one of those people. But
both on the list.
But before we get to Blueface's response, because I feel like first of all, this episode is gonna have some sort of Blueface infusion because Blueface saved the day this week. You know what I'm saying? Like Blueface was going so real and so hard.
I loved his response.
It was amazing. It was immaculate. You know what I'm saying? The response was immaculate. But I feel like the first question is because it had me thinking about it when it all first happened. What point should we let go the Chris Brown thing? Because there are several other people who have had this. Do you think he can ever escape these allegations? Like, do y'all believe that it's just done for Chris Brown in terms of this will always hold over his head?
Absolutely. They always want to hold it.
Yeah. Why do you think that is, though?
Because he's black.
That's it?
Primarily.
I mean, I think just because it happened.
But I mean, yeah, and because of, I can't even say because of his being a star, because these are all niggas stars who
they still be bringing up the P. Diddy and J-Lo gun situation.
It's gonna be one of those things
happened in the 90s.
Yeah, it's gonna be one of those things that are just gonna be convenient for when
that
you're
don't really
to
come up like that though.
Diddy
doesn't announce a new deal and then they say, remember what happened with him and J-Lo? Like that don't happen.
But it's been. I'll give it a few more years. They might stop talking about it.
Thing. They'll eventually stop, but it's gonna take forever. They should have stopped, in my opinion, already.
Yeah.
So. It's like, I mean, I agree. You know, it's like, I think the current energy is that you get canceled for that on the site. So I don't know if y'all, the guy that did Rick and Morty.
But you can't say that. You can't say that.
They canceled him for that.
But you can't say that either, though, because Dana White just slapped his wife in front of everybody. And they let him launch a whole new TV show.
That was pre-cancellation. That was
we talking about like a month ago. That was like a month ago.
Dana White
just slapped his wife.
Okay, so he's done it more than once.
They literally just slapped each other in public.
Okay, so this is not the first time because I feel like this was like something that happened years ago.
Yeah, no, it's not the first time. Exactly. It is not the first time. He just refreshed everybody's memory. And then dropped a TV show right after it.
Yeah. Well, I think there's just bigger money at play with him and like the UFC. And when I say bigger money, I mean Chris Brown obviously is big money, but I mean like the UFC and all that shit he got going on, like they're gonna liken it to him being in that kind of sport anyway, and also I think the whiteness actually does matter.
So you think the money, but you gotta also think about
it's a bigger money play at hand.
Dr. Dre has a solid resume of beating bitches up.
Yeah,
he does.
And his doesn't get held over his head. He doesn't get his held over his head. And he has a nice little resume.
That's true.
Where it's just...
He ain't really...
Then again, but that speaks kind of to the money play, though.
I was about to say that.
That speaks to the money play and like which position you're like, where you at and who you're giving money to as well.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like who else is eating off of you?
How much? Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
How big is your eat off me tree?
Facts.
He was never really cancelable because it was his record label. So
not in the beginning. It was he was on Eazy-E's drop. But just in general, just in general though. But yeah.
I mean, by the time he started slapping people and shit,
he was already established.
He was slapping Michelle A up and all that, and that was NWA days.
Now that was black people on black people violence back before.
Nobody cares about that.
So that definitely is definitely a factor for sure.
Yeah.
If you're beating up a black woman or y'all, then that gets forgotten about a lot quicker.
That's the
than
Chris
if you
Brown.
beat it.
That's the Krishan and Blueface shit. They beating on each other. Who gives a fuck?
Yeah.
Right.
I feel like with
it's
Chris
completely
Brown,
different for them because they have mutual combat.
It is mutual combat.
So so that really
some people
that
feel
really
like
changes a lot for them. It really does.
Some people feel like with Chris Brown, he didn't really beat Rihanna up. They fought and she lost.
You think they fought? But weren't they in the car?
Yeah, they fought. They were fighting each other. They were fighting.
And she technically had an advantage, right?
Yeah, she had this nigga
because he was driving.
They were fighting. But for
That's
me,
another piece. Like if you fight me in the car,
and I'm driving, what am I supposed to do?
I'm probably gonna hit you. Like what?
Like at one point,
Yeah.
she had grabbed his like nuts and like dug her nails in.
Right.
What? I'm going to punch you.
Like I'm either punching you or I'm choking you like this while I'm pulling over.
Because I can't crash.
Like
Yeah.
the fuck am I
But
gonna
I
do?
feel like it just goes back, like I said, even without the Rihanna situation, it's been multiple other instances of Chris Brown in his career where he's done some wild
shit.
abusive shit. Like
That's true. Okay.
You know what I'm saying? You were torturing 𝔂𝚃 with her little suicide attempt, which that was extra on her part.
He was?
Yeah,
I didn't
like
know
she
that.
when she
I
had,
forgot about.
Yeah,
Ooh,
with
that
the
was a
whole
dark.
Kyrie and P&D
that
shit.
was a dark moment in Kehlani's career. That one went away though.
You were throwing homophobic slurs at Frank Ocean. You pulled up on him. Y'all fought. He whooped your ass. Don't nobody want to talk about that.
Are you sure?
I'm
Wait,
positive.
really?
I'm positive.
I don't know. I heard that was a nice fade.
No,
I heard that was a nice even fade.
It wasn't. It wasn't. Frank.
I have not heard
Frank
anything.
won.
I've done
definitive win.
research.
Frank won.
Hold up. I've done.
Frank
You
won.
just love Frank. I've done
Yeah.
research.
Frank won. I'm telling you.
I've done research on this incident, and nobody has said anybody won.
just
But
seen it on Twitter.
everybody agreed it was a good fight. But there's never been a clear winner.
I feel like Frank won, and that's what I always heard on my side of Twitter. I don't know.
Because you on the Frank side of
I don't
Twitter.
know. I don't know.
You know what I'm saying?
The whole crew chief. It's just a lot of shit. Like you just
the Robin Givens thing where he like
wilding.
broke the monitor or punched the window out or something like that.
Yeah, like you going
Got
off
mad
on
during an
interviews and shit like that.
Y'all remember? This is another thing. All these things are coming up now. Like, and so in my mind, I was thinking, yeah, 16 years later, he did apologize, but the question has to be raised: did he apologize enough?
He did, and then she forgave him too. So it was like,
That's the
what
other
else?
part.
And he
They
forgave
did a
him.
song after that.
That's
They
the other
did,
part,
but
yeah.
then I was thinking, yeah, we should kind of let it go, or why does that keep coming up? But then those other moments, those other stories, like the ones that you're talking about, started coming back up.
Yeah.
The Robin Givens thing. Y'all remember when he was in his house and he was holding the chick hostage?
Right.
And he was having a standoff with the LAPD.
Right.
That was like 5 years ago.
Remember the picture of him choking a girl on a balcony?
Yeah.
Who was he holding hostage? I don't remember this.
It was like a party that he was having, and something went left with the party. The girls claimed they were holding him up at gunpoint, and they were having a standoff inside of his home, where he wouldn't come out the home, and the LAPD was surrounding his house. And it was like a little standoff. I can't remember. It was like 5 years ago. I feel like I was working at Sinclair.
Yeah.
When it happened, and it was like a 4-hour little standoff where it was just like the news is literally choppering over top of this nigga's.
2016. Yep.
Yeah, 2016. So and it was just that was all. That was I forgot about that. You know.
I did
So all
think
these
about that.
things are coming back up.
Dude's
And
kind
I'm-
of problematic.
And I'm like, you know, you do.
Maybe there's something to this.
You do why you're doing something to these women. You know what I'm saying? You know, like I can't be biased just because I fuck with you. I have to be objective, and you have had a lot of incidences with women. It's just like Trey Songz. See, I'm not a Trey
I
Songz.
was just about to say that.
I'm not a
It's
Trey
just like
Songz
the Trey Songz
fan.
thing.
So it's easier for me to be like, this nigga Trey Songz rapes women. I
yeah.
mean, this is obvious at this point,
Right.
like to me.
Allegedly,
But
yes.
I fuck with Chris
Allegedly,
Brown
yeah,
heavy, allegedly still,
Yes,
yeah.
yeah, still.
But it's easier. It's still easier for me to say it, you know.
Yeah,
Right.
it just feels
They-
like because
feels-
you don't have
feels
any
really
ties.
accurate.
Yeah.
And all the women just coming out to the left saying the shit.
just
like,
way too many accusations.
And to be
Yeah.
fair, bruh, I feel like even with the stories that I heard about Chris Brown, I feel like Trey Songz has still doubled those numbers. Trey Songz catches a new little being aggressive with women, holding women hostage case like every year.
Yeah.
It's like every other
Multiple times a
year.
year.
But and sometimes more than once a year.
Yeah.
So it's like, yeah, Trey Songz is like he's really out here just being a villain.
Predatory.
Yeah, but the Chris Brown thing, man, it's like, yeah, bro, I guess you doing something to these women, bro. That's just what it comes down to. I don't know what the hell you doing. I think sometimes, you know, we all thought he was, he might have been snorting the powder and stuff. I think some of those instances might be he might have just been tweaking the fuck out one day, which that's a little bit more understandable because you're not sober. But you've had a lot of situations where a couple of them were sober.
At least
Had
some
to
of them had
happen.
to be sober, right? I mean, you know. Yeah.
So what?
Some of them had to be sober. At
Some
least.
of them had to be sober.
Yeah.
And I gotta give you the sober L's every time.
Man, yeah, something has to be wrong there. I'll tell you that much. That many situations like that don't happen to people who don't have
right, questionable behavior.